Hey, welcome back to Cool Classics. Today I'm going to tell you a fun fact about the Gilligan's Island theme song. Yes, there are two versions, but why are there two versions? Well, the explanation might surprise you. So the song was written and commissioned while the show was still in development. The version that you hear during season 1 goes like, Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, and the rest here on Gilligan's Isle. And then later on you hear, Gilligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, the movie star, the professor and Mary Ann here on Gilligan's Isle. So the story goes like this. The song was already written at the time when the cast was already signed, but there wasn't anyone that was signed to play the professor and Mary Ann. Actually, they didn't even know they were going to call her part Mary Ann yet. By the time Russell Johnson signed his contract to play the professor, and Dawn Wells signed her contract to play the part of Mary Ann that they actually had a name for, Tina Louise had already signed a contract to play Ginger, and in her contract, it stipulated that she must be the last person billed in the opening credits. Which to me seems kind of strange. You'd think your demand would be, I want to be first billed, but in her mind, she would be called the movie star, and it would have her name, and she'd be last, so she'd be the most fresh in your memory. Also, it's kind of like it ends on her, like she is the star. So with the song being completed already, and Tina's contract saying that she must be billed last, they just left it. But this never did settle right with Bob Denver. As season 1 progressed and Mary Ann and the professor both had significant roles in each episode, they felt a little bit slighted, but they knew the situation with the contract. But they couldn't help but joke with each other like, hey, we're here, we're the rest, and stuff like that. You know, when you're joking that you're just the rest of the cast, then that means it does kind of bother you to some degree. And like I said, it bothered Bob Denver. So Bob went to Sherwood Schwartz and said, I think we really need to rewrite the song and change the opening to where it shows the professor and Mary Ann and has their names in there so that everyone can be billed equally. And Sherwood said, no, we're too far going into the first season. We're leaving things alone. Don't even think about it. Well, Bob couldn't help but think about it. So much so that at the end of the first season and before the second season started, Bob hired some musicians on his own to help rewrite the theme song so that it didn't need to be a complete rewrite, just trying to figure out a way to fit in the professor and Mary Ann. When pre-production started for the second season, Bob came in and presented his new song to Sherwood Schwartz. Again, Sherwood said, no, we're not going to go with that. Bob was shocked. He was really upset, and he said, look, everybody on this show is working their butts off. All of the cast are in every episode, and everyone deserves to be billed in the opening credits and in the theme song. Again, Sherwood brought up the fact that Tina Louise's contract stated that she had to be billed last. And this is when Bob went with the nuclear option, so to speak. He said, but my contract says that I can be billed anywhere I want, first or last. I will take last then. Sherwood was shocked. He said, Bob, do you realize that this could open up so many contract disputes that the entire production could be shut down and the show could be over? Bob said, what is right is what is right. Years later, in an interview, Bob said that he knew things would get worked out. That's why he pulled this ultimatum. The last thing he would have wanted was the show to get canceled because that would have hurt everyone worse than just not getting billed and credited right. But he knew that he had to be the one to stand up for fairness since he held the most influence in this situation. You see, the show was called Gilligan's Island, starring Bob Denver. It was based around him because he had just had success with Dobie Gillis, so he was the star that they created the show around. And if his influence couldn't make a change, then it probably wasn't going to be able to happen. On a side note, Tina, after she heard of his ultimatum, she went ahead and had that removed from her contract and was happy with everyone else being happy. So the cast of Gilligan's Island, everyone really did like each other. Wow, what a stand-up guy Bob Denver was. It just goes to show you that some of these people really do care about each other. If you like this video, click on one of my others. Think about subscribing. I could use the support. Cool classics.